Tell me about yourself. Hello, thank you for having me. My name is Ben Felps, and I'm a freshman at Temple University seeking education in two disciplines due to a belief that business is the most effective method by which to solve global problems, an area of which I have intense interest in. And in order to know what global problems to solve, one must understand the basis for those problems. I have experience leading people in various capacities, including an organization I started in high school dedicated to encouraging the proliferation of entrepreneurial ideas and the tools by which to turn those ideas into reality, as well as a startup focused on automating the apartment renting process. Much of my studies will be focused on global integration, which will ideally lead to a career centered around fostering cross national and cross cultural business ventures. As per this philosophy that I am nurturing through my major choices, I plan to study abroad in various regions of the world, primarily Europe, Asia, and Latin America. I am a natural leader as I often find myself in charge of teams that I assemble myself for my own purposes, both in the context of my education and in my personal endeavors. I believe that the world is going to continue to integrate, and I want to be involved with facilitating the innovations and prosperity that this process is set to unleash, and I am orienting my education for the accomplishment of this goal. The push of new digital technologies and the facilitation of interconnected global communication and trade is an area that I have intense interest in, and I pride myself on seeing the barriers to further economic integration as opportunities to further the process, as I have shown interest in and am pursuing certificate credentials in intellectual property law, software and web development, as well as project management that will further enable to put forth solutions to the issues that are most deeply impacting how, when, and how fast new technologies, and by extension globalization itself, are happening in the global economy. My hope is that through this position I will be able to pursue my goal of using the principles of commerce to improve life for all. By combining two majors in international business and global studies, my goal is to possess a deep understanding of many different areas of the world that inform my use of practical business skills that I can use to improve the world as it integrates. Looking forward to getting started. Tell me about a significant accomplishment in your life. One experience that comes to mind is when I was able to solve a general problem in an organization I was involved in through deductive reasoning. A few summers ago, I worked at a sleepaway camp, and I noticed that the organization had difficulties funding new additions to the camp while continuing to maintain what had already worked. I was able to come up with a system that leveraged alumni's desire to help the organization in order to help fund projects that the organization, including all stakeholders, from the youngest campers to the director of the camp, voted on through a crowdsourcing website. Stakeholders would vote on the and propose projects to improve camp, and the project with the most support received money from alumni looking to invest in specific projects. This ensured that alumni dollars were spent in a transparent and efficient manner, as well as encouraging more donations, and the project that was funded entirely were grassroots in nature, a much better way to distribute resources effectively than a top down and closed off administrative process as existed in the organization beforehand. The way I was able to implement these changes was by inciting an urgent need for change by demonstrating that the things that the organization was investing in were not improving the satisfaction level of campers, nor impressing parents of potential campers, of which attendance is essential for the future survival of the organization moving forward, and then creating a strategic vision and communicating that vision through a presentation to staff that earned a standing ovation. I was able to have the plan implemented by working with the camp to set up an internal crowdsourcing site that anyone involved with the organization could contribute to and get projects funded with. I was able to create shared values, vision, and optimism that propelled and integrated the idea into the broader strategic vision of the organization, and I was able to change the status quo of how strategic investments were carried out, and the organization is better for it today. This experience taught me a lot about how to affect change within an organization, because it is often as simple as bringing light to an issue that no one else has really thought about due to internal institutional biases. Creating the idea that there is an urgent need for change, the particular aspect of the organization, which I did by connecting the problem to the issue of getting new campers, which is essential for the future revenue growth model of the organization, and by extension presenting a sound plan for addressing the problem that I brought attention to. I'm looking forward to working on more projects like this in the future. Tell me something you've learned in class. One thing that I have learned in class that ended up rearing its head in a recent interview with Warren Buffett, of all places, is that the culture of a company, what the company stands for and what it believes in, is often what drives specific policies. In the case of Wells Fargo, a case widely documented in the media, especially the Wall Street Journal, was how a company seemingly so successful and honest from the outside could have created a culture in which thousands of employees collectively broke laws that were some of the most obvious in business. We all know that cooking the books with fake sales figures is highly illegal, and yet thousands of talented and skilled individuals ended up contributing to one of the largest financial scandals in years. The decision to implement an incentive system that ended up being very damaging for the company was the result of a strategic culture that emphasized results above all else, sales results, financial results above all else. While denying that this mistake was a symptom of a larger deficiency in the organizational culture, Buffett, who happens to be a significant investor in Wells, recognized how a culture can lead to negative policies being implemented in a company that can often lead down a slippery slope of illegality and immorality. He also recognized that organizations can change elements of their culture that produce negative side effects, but that it is very difficult, and according to what I've learned in class, change is difficult in an organization because people develop a certain comfort level in their daily routines. And changing this often results in significant backlash. Wells has to institute organizational change in order to restore faith in their brand, a feat Buffett recognizes difficult but not impossible. He still believes in the fundamentals in the company. I can relate this to my own organizations and ventures because it has helped me realize that I naturally foster a high performance culture, possibly due to my personality type, ENTP. I tend to demand results regardless of the person bringing those results to me. And sometimes I need to better recognize people's feelings when dealing with trying to leverage their skills that are absolutely essential for reaching the specific goals have that the organization has set out for itself. Because it is absolutely necessary that people are valued within an organization and feel valued in order to inspire them to put forth their best work, which is why they are on the team in the first place. I hope to work on this skill further during my time at Fox. And my freshman HRM class has taught me much about how to refine my leadership style in order to encourage people to put their best forward in all situations when it comes to their work and to feel value within the larger goal of whatever venture I happen to be pursuing.